So in this video, I want to go over how we can use the sort and filter features inside of feeds. Now, this is the feeds demo file. I am using the total CMS feed here. That's just because I have some decent data that I can filter out, but it doesn't really matter at all what your feed is. The sorting and filtering features work on any sort of feeds, databases, RSS, CSS files, CVS or CSV files, the files pack, videos. I mean, it doesn't matter. You can filter and sort on every feed. So let's dive in. There are two different kind of ways that we can sort and filter. And we're going to go over sorting first, but I do want to kind of go over the nomenclature since they behave similarly. Inside the main feed stack, there is a sort and filter function. However, there may be the ability or time where you want to do multiple filters or multiple sorts. So instead of adding multiple sort and filter features here, there is the ability to add a pre-filter feed and pre-sort feed option here. So we can add pre-sort and pre-filter. Now, what's different with these are, I recommend that you add these after all of your data feeds. Okay, because if you sort or filter the data before your feed ever gets added, then nothing's going to happen. Okay, so you want to make sure that the filters and the sorts happen after your feed. Think of this as a logical progression. We're importing our data, we're going to filter it, and then we're going to sort it. Okay, you can have as many filters and as many sorts as you want. Now, if you also set the filter and sorts inside of the main feed stack, they will happen after the pre-filters. Okay, so you don't have to have them here. You can use just these if you like. But for convenience, if you only want to do one sort or one filter, it could be useful to use them here. Okay, the options here and the options inside these stacks are identical. So for the rest of this demo, I'm just going to show these child stacks just so it's kind of easier and targeted example. Let's go over the sort. So here we're going to provide, by default is no sort. We want to sort. So essentially when you just do sort, in most of these sort fields, you're going to sort and you just provide the actual field that you want to sort by. Obviously, if you shuffle, it's just going to shuffle the records. Okay. But all of these other ones require that you actually supply a field name. Now, how do you know that field name? Well, hopefully, if you're watching this video, you already know how to use feeds, and you can go ahead and say data preview. And if we preview in the browser here, you'll see that we have all of the fields that are listed that we can actually filter by. Okay. So in here, I'm going to, let's just sort by title. I know this is a total CMS blog feed. So I'm going to go ahead and sort by title. Okay. And here we go. For some reason, I have this odd one that has numbers in it. But after that, we'll notice that they are all sorted by title. Now, we can also look at reverse sort. So we can reverse the sort and we preview that. We'll see that it then reverses the sort. Okay. Now, some other sort options here. We have natural sort and natural sort reverse. Depending on what you want, natural sort tends to do numbers differently. Okay. So if you ever sorted by a number, you'll notice that sometimes computers will go 1, 10, 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. Where natural sort will actually then sort 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So natural sort really has to do with sorting better when you have numbers involved. If you know you don't have numbers involved, I do recommend using sort because it's a little less resource intensive. Not anything noticeable, but if you know you're not going to have to sort by natural number order, definitely use sort versus natural sort. Okay. Now, again, if you wanted to sort by title, and then after you sorted by title, you wanted to sort by, I don't know, the summary. Okay. You can do that. So you can sort by title, then sort by summary, and there we go. Okay. So it kind of gives us, multiple sort options here. So now let's dive into the filter options. And filter allows us to limit the data. Essentially, we're filtering out data. So here I'm going to go ahead and now there's two different types of filters. We can do a static filter, which says basically, let's say I want to show everything that has a tag of Brazil's on there multiple times. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say I'm going to do tags is Brazil. Okay, so it's static. I only ever want to show all blog posts that have a tag of Brazil. There we go. Now, if you notice in our rules, we have a lot of stuff. So the default is equal to. So if a tag is equal to Brazil, show it. But we can also do not equal to case insensitive, not equal to case insensitive, starts with, doesn't start with. So there's a lot of options here. Contains, doesn't contain. If your particular field is numbers, do we do less than or equal to? If it's a Boolean field, if it's true or false, is it empty? Is it not empty? So on and so forth. There's also some date logic in here if your field contains a date. So there's a lot of really powerful logic in this to really give us a lot of power. Okay. So for example, if I do starts with, or actually let's do contains, okay, contains Brazil. That's still going to show us both, but watch. If I do contains bra, okay, it's still going to show these two because both posts contain bra. But if I change this back to equal to, so tags equals to bra, it's going to show none because there are nothing that where the tag exactly equals bra, okay, because it was Brazil. So you can also do, again, starts with, ends with, so on and so forth. So that's a static filter. But what if we wanted to dynamically filter our list basically by like maybe passing some functions to a URL? So we can go ahead and let's change this to dynamic URL filter. And what this does is we have the same rules, okay, but now we only pass a URL key. So right now we're going to continue to filter on the tags field. Okay, now let's preview. Now, by default, I haven't applied any dynamic filters to this, so it's displaying all blog posts. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and add question mark, tags, equal, and let's do Brazil again. So there we go. I've dynamically filtered this by saying I want the tags to equal Brazil. So it's going to dynamically find every post that the tag equals Brazil. Again, it still applies to this equal to. So for example, and then if I change this to go back to tags equals Google, there we go. We show this particular one that has Google as a tag. Now, if I change that to be something like GOOG, it's going to return nothing, because there are no tags that have exactly that. But you can change that behavior if you want, right? You can say contains, and if I preview this, let's just go back to this other one and refresh that. There, even though tags equals GOOG, because this contains that, it will then display the results. So that's how we can use dynamic URL filters. Now, by default, it will always ignore a filter if it's not present. But if you uncheck this, it's basically a required option. Like you have to define that or else it's going to filter out everything. So for example, let's go ahead and turn that checkbox off. I'm going to refresh, and I don't have any filters defined here. So it's blank. It's nothing, right? Because I'm not applying any filters. There are some use cases for that, but I think a majority of the time you're going to want to make sure that that is checked. And one other thing I should note is if you wanted to support multiple filters, so if you wanted to do, I want to filter by tag and I potentially want to filter by summary or something like that, right? You can go ahead and do that. So let's go ahead and do that now. So let's say summary contains and tag is equal to. Okay, let's go ahead and preview that. So I'm going to do, we're going to do tags equals Brazil again. Okay. And let's say I want to make sure my summary, okay, we're going to do and summary equals, and we're going to do plan, right? Because it contains the word plan in it for some reason. This one contains the word plan. So there we go. And there we go. So this is the only one that the summary contains the word plan, and we have a tag of Brazil, right? So that's how we can kind of mix and match filters. Again, you don't require them, right? So if I just did tags equals Brazil, I still get both. So it's kind of an optional thing. Super powerful. It's a very powerful thing to filter your data and really display. Now, if you don't, obviously you don't want to have users going ahead and, typing in the URLs. So a really great way of doing this is simply going and having, let's say, a button, okay? Or, this is the starter pack button. But we can go ahead and do a link here. So let's say I do, I can link to tags equals Brazil. Okay. And I can then change this and say, Brazil posts. There we go. So if we preview this, I now have a button here that when I click on it, it filters by Brazil posts. So there's a lot of other ways you could do this. You can use like a Foundation 6 form with uses selects. And so some more advanced options. But this is a simple way of just using a button. And I think in one of my feeds videos, I actually do some select boxes where I'm actually, having a drop-down menu to select by something and stuff like that. I also did that on the madeforstacks.com website, which actually uses feeds as well. So check that out, where I did an entire tutorial on how I build that website out. So cool. I hope you enjoy feeds. These are some great options for pre-filtering and sorting. Super powerful. Take care. Bye-bye.